about again the open methods. So in the last class we have discussed fixed point iteration. So in fixed point iteration the method is very simple. Xn plus 1 equal to f of xn. So this is the formula we have used. And Newton-Raphson method we have discussed. So in that case we have discussed xn plus 1 equal to xn minus f of xn divided by f dash of xn, that we have discussed in the last class. And then we have seen some of the advantages and disadvantages of the fixed point method as well as the Newton-Raphson method compared to the other methods like bisection method and regular falsi method. So in today's class, once again we are going to continue with the Newton open methods only. In open methods, now we are going to introduce the secant method. So we have discussed about these things already. We have discussed a quick recap, like bracketing methods, like means you need to give the interval and then you have to see like what is there that is going to bracket and the truth is going to be there, etc. We have seen. And in open methods we don't need to get bracketing, but we can just say not necessarily bracket, but you can just guess any values and then you are going to get that. So this is the advantage we had, but disadvantage is that it may move a little slower. So we have discussed about the Newton-Raphson method in the last class. In today's class we are going to discuss about the secant method. So the Newton-Raphson method, as I mentioned, it is going to calculate the derivative. It's also called as a tangent method. Okay, so whereas in this secant method, what we are going to do is that we are going to again do the same thing, xn plus 1 equal to xn minus f of xn by f dash of xn only we are going to calculate. But now we are not going to calculate the f dash of xn, but we are going to use that definition of the derivative in an alternative way. Okay, and then we are going to get that. So this is as fast as the Newton-Raphson method. The convergence will be almost as fast as the Newton-Raphson method. But in the secant method, we require two starting values. Okay, let us have two starting values. So as per the Newton-Raphson method, we have this one. Okay, xn plus 1 is equal to xn minus f of xn by f dash of xn. So now we know the definition of derivative. The definition of derivative is nothing but limit n tends to infinity, limit h tends to 0 I will put. Okay, limit h tends to 0, and then I will put f of x plus h. Okay, so if it is f of x, so I will put f of x plus h minus f of x divided by h. I will keep it. Okay, this is nothing but the definition of the derivative we know. Now what I can write this as f dash of x equal to, okay, approximately I can write it as, okay, so the h is very small. I can write f of x plus h minus f of x divided by h I can write. Now suppose my xn plus 1 and xn both are very near. Okay, so what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to do xn. So this is going to become like, I need to calculate this f dash of xn. I'm just going to take f dash of xn equal to, so this is going to become like f of x plus xn plus h I'm going to take minus f of xn divided by h is going to come. Now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to choose my h equal to xn plus 1 minus xn I'm going to choose. Okay, my xn I'm just I just choose xn minus 1 minus xn I'm going to choose. Okay, so in that case what I'm going to have, xn minus 1. This is going to become like f of xn, h is going to be this one. So xn plus 1, xn plus xn minus 1 minus xn. So xn get cancelled. So I'm going to get, this is going to become like f of xn minus 1 minus f of xn divided by, okay, this is going to become like xn minus 1 minus xn. Okay, so this is going to come. Now I can apply that over the f dash of xn definition. So in that case, what I'm going to have is that I'm going to have, this is going to become like xn plus 1 equal to, okay, xn minus f of xn divided by f dash of xn. I got to replace this one. Therefore, this is going to become like f of xn minus 1 minus f of xn into xn minus 1 minus xn. Or I can write the same thing as follows: xn minus xn minus 1 divided by f of xn minus f of xn minus 1 into f of xn. Both are same. Okay, both are same because I'm just interchanging the minus, so it is going to become the same. So this is the one which we are going to, this method we call it as, okay, this is the method we call it as Newton-Raphson. This is the method we call it as a secant method. Okay, so this is the thing about the secant method. The same method, same, the name is secant used because on the right hand side, instead of tangent, this is f dash of xn is tangent. Instead of that, I am replacing with the secant. Okay, so the secant of the graph. That's the reason this is called secant method. Okay, in this case, we have used the f dash of xn, that is nothing but the tangent. Here we are using the secant method. Same reason Newton-Raphson method is called as a tangent method. So in this case, you require two values because x1 is also required, x1 minus 1 is also required. Means two initial cases you got to give, and then you will continue the problem. Means initially you need to give x0 and x1. If you give x0 and x1, automatically the x2 and x3 etc. will be calculated. So that the sequence will be generating the rest. Okay. So once again if f of x1 and f of x1 minus 1, so this is very near to 0, then or if it is either the loss of significant digit because of the minus etc., then again your problem will have overflow error, or it is going to diverge. Okay, this problem will be there in this case. Again, similar to the Newton-Raphson method. So x2, so here you have to calculate x2, not x0, x1 will be given. So x2 is equal to, you have to calculate x0, x1 minus x1 minus x0 divided by f of x1 minus f of x0 into f of x1. You have to calculate and then keep on doing this iteration. Then at the end, you are going to get the loop is going to exit after some stage. So if you remember the Pulse position method, almost same thing we are going to do. Okay, in the Pulse position method and secant position method is almost same, but the difference is that in the secant method, you can just guess x0 and x1 anything. But in the Pulse position method, you need to get the x0 and x1 in between. That must bracket the root. So also you need to check the conditions also different. Like you need to check whether f dash of x1, sorry, f of x0 into f of x1 is less than 0. Means every time you go to check that values. Okay, f of x0 into f of x1 is less than 0, and then you go to choose this. Here you don't need to check anything. You just start anything as the starting value, and then you can do that. Since the formula is almost similar, the the convergence is almost same as the regular Pulse method. Means the convergence is going to be Coulton ratio. Okay, so that I leave it as an exercise because I have given that regular Pulse method also as an exercise. So the same thing here also I'm giving. So again, I'm giving the secant method. So here you can see that it is converging after 4 steps. Okay, almost similar to what we got it in the Newton-Raphson method. Okay, again, this is another problem where I think similar kind of convergence you are getting compared to the Newton-Raphson method. Okay, just 1 or 2 steps difference. So here again another problem. So x power 10 minus 1. So here you can see that I think in the case of Newton-Raphson method was taking 43 steps. I think here it is converging after 8 steps. Okay, so this is one thing. Okay, suppose you have multiple roots. In case of multiple roots, how do you calculate? Okay, one of the disadvantage of the Newton-Raphson method and the secant method is that if you have multiple roots, it is not going to work out because f dash of xr is standard and f of xr is not equal to 0, then you are going to have that problem is going to come. So in this case, what you need to do is that we must have this one. Okay, f of xr not equal to 0 and f dash of xr not equal to 0 to overcome this difficulty. Okay, sorry, there is a mistake here. So f dash of xr not equal to 0 and f of xr equal to 0. Then we don't have the difficulty. But okay, so to overcome this difficulty, we need to develop another method. So how are we going to develop that? So let us see that. Suppose you have a multiple root. Okay, suppose you have a multiple root. What is the definition of multiplicity? We'll see. So suppose you have a function f of x equal to 0. A root f of x r is there. Okay, xr is a root. Then what do you say it is multiplicity? So if you can write f of x equal to x minus xr power m into q of x. Okay, and q of xr is not equal to 0. Then we say that xr is a multiplicity of m. Okay, multiplicity of m for this f. Okay, so that we call it as a multiplicity of the. Now suppose the function f belongs to C of a comma b has a simple root xr in a comma b, then you can claim that if and only if f of xr equal to 0 and f dash of xr not equal to 0. So then in that case we can say that it's a simple root. Okay, so both ways you can prove that f belongs to C1 of a comma b has a simple root at xr in a comma b if and only if f of xr equal to 0 and f dash of xr not equal to 0. Then only we can claim that. Okay, so this is the obvious one. Now for this multiplicity things, how are we going to do that? So again, for multiplicity, like m multiplicity, what you can do is that f belongs to Cm of a comma b, okay, and has a root of multiplicity m xr in a comma b if and only if f of xr equal to 0, f dash of xr equal to 0, f dash of xr equal to 0, up to fm minus 1 of xr, m minus 1th derivative of f should be equal to 0, whereas fm at mth derivative, okay, should not be 0. Okay, mth derivative at xr should not be 0. Then we see that it's a multiplicity. It is a if and only if condition. You can prove that. Okay, so this is very straightforward. You can take that. If you take the mth derivative, you can say that m into etc. is going to come. M factorial etc. is going to come. Okay, m factorial x minus xr after the mth derivative it is going to come. Already q of xr is not equal to 0, therefore it is not going to be there. So m multiplicity means m times it will come. Okay, m minus 1th derivative, there will be x minus xr always going to be there. Therefore, you are going to get that value as 0. Okay, that is very simple. So you can prove that if and only if very easily. So if the root is very simple root, Newton-Raphson method can be applied. But now what we are going to define is that we are going to, if it is a multiplicity root, what I'm going to define is that I'm going to define a new function, nu of x. Okay, nu of x equal to f of x divided by f dash of x. I'm going to define. I'm going to define f of x divided by f dash of x. Okay, for this kind of function. So in that case, what I have, f of x is nothing but x minus xr into x minus xr power m into q of x. So this is going to become like x minus xr power m into q of x divided by f dash of x. I got to calculate f dash of x is going to become like x minus xr power m into q of x, q dash of x plus m into x minus xr power m minus 1 q of x is going to come. Okay, so this is going to come for me for my f dash of x. Now, how are you going to use this to calculate the multiplicity problem? Okay, so the nu of x is going to be like this: x minus xr power m q of x divided by x minus xr power m etc. is there. So I'm just going to take x minus xr power m common. Okay, x minus xr power m common. Okay, into I'm going to take it out. So the numerator it is going to be q of x. Okay, and denominator what I'm going to take, I'm going to take x minus xr power m x minus xr power m minus 1. I'm going to take it out. Okay, so in that case this is going to become like x minus xr power m minus 1 into this is going to become like x minus xr into q dash of x is going to be there plus m into q of x is going to be there. Okay, so this is going to be there. So in that case, I can just cancel this. So this I can cancel, and this is going to become like x minus xr into same thing whatever I have, q of x divided by x minus xr into q dash of x plus m into q of x is going to be there. Now at x equal to xr, what we have? Okay, suppose at x equal to xr, what will happen? At x equal to xr, f of x is going to become 0 because it is a root, right? So it is going to become 0. So nu of xr is going to become 0. And what is going to happen to the nu dash of x? Okay, let us calculate what is nu dash of x is going to come. Okay, nu dash of x now. Let us calculate nu dash of x. So nu dash of x is going to become like, I will calculate. So this is going to become like, let me write this again, q of x divided by x minus xr into q dash of x plus m into q of x. So nu dash of x is going to become like, two terms is going to come. So first term, nu dash of x is going to become like x minus xr into q of x divided by x minus xr into q dash of x plus m into q of x whole dash is going to come. Okay, plus I'm going to have q of x divided by x minus xr into q of x plus m into q of x is going to come. So that means what I'm trying to do here is that what is nu of xr? Nu of xr is going to become like 0. Okay, because f of xr is 0. Okay, because xr is a root, therefore this is going to become 0. Therefore nu of xr is going to become 0. Now what is nu dash of xr? Nu dash of xr is going to become 0 because going to become, this is going to become like 0 because x minus xr term is there. Here there is no x minus xr. Here x minus xr is there. Therefore this is going to become 0. So you are going to get m into q of x is going to come. Okay, q of x into, so here q dash of x is there. So this is going to become 0. M into q of x is going to come. So in that case, what is it going to come? Okay, so in that case, nu dash of xr is going to become like, so kx divided by m into q of x is going to come. Therefore, you are going to get 1 by m is going to come. Okay, nu dash of xr is going to become like 1 by m only. Therefore, what I am going to do, instead of applying Newton-Raphson method for f of x, okay, for in this formula, instead of applying on this formula, xn plus 1 equal to xn minus f of xn divided by f dash of xn. Instead of applying this for f, I am going to apply this for nu. So in that case, this is going to become like xn plus 1 equal to, okay, xn minus mu of xn divided by mu dash of xn is going to come. Okay, But what is mu of xn? Mu of xn is already known, f of x by f dash of xn, okay? And mu dash of xn, we have to calculate. Mu dash of xn is going to become like, I'm just going to apply this one, okay? Whatever I have given here, okay? So if I apply that mu dash of xn, I'm just going to apply not this formula. I'm going to apply this definition, okay? So let me apply that. So nu of x is this one. Therefore, this is going to become like xn minus f of xn divided by f dash of xn. Okay. Now, what is nu dash of xn? Nu dash of x, let us see. Nu dash of x is going to become like f of VDU formula you got to apply. So f dash of x n whole square, f dash of x whole square. Okay. And here it is going to become like f dash of x into f dash of x into f dash of x again. Okay, so therefore this is going to become like f dash of x square, okay, minus f of x into f dash of x is going to come. Okay, so u by v formula, if you apply that, this is going to come. Therefore, you substitute over here. This is going to become like nu dash. Therefore, this is going to become like f dash of xn whole square divided by f dash of xn square minus f of xn into f dash of xn is going to come. So this f dash of xn, f dash of xn whole square will get cancelled. So in that case, you are going to get f of xn into, so this is going to become like xn minus f of xn into f dash of xn divided by f dash of xn whole square minus f of xn into f dash of xn is going to come. So this is nothing but my root. If I have the, this is going to be the method if I'm having multiple roots by formula. Okay, so the above iteration provides the roots of the function under certain, you got to do that continuity and differentiability, etc. I got to assume that, then it is going to give the quadratic convergence, okay, the for the root of multiplicity m. So hence we need however we need to do more work, because here f dash is there, f dash is there, everything is there, you got to do that. So let us have a small comparison, okay, whatever we discussed so far. So for the bisection method, what you have is that you have you need to have two initial cases, one is a0 and b0, and with the condition that f of a0 and f of b0 is less than 0. And the formula for calculating the bisection method is that you calculate xn x naught r, which is nothing but a0 plus b0 by 2. And then repeat that. Okay, so use that as if less than, if it is change that according to the condition f of is not into f of x naught is less than 0, etc. Change that according to that, and then you will get that convergence. Okay, that is nothing but the bisection method. In Paul's bisection method, what you need to do, you have to calculate that similar kind of method. Okay, f of xn, again you need two initial cases. Okay, not initial cases, which is to bracket the root in such a way that f of a0 and f of b0 less than 0. Then you can calculate a similar kind of formula. xnr can be calculated like bn minus f of bn into an minus bn by f of an minus f of bn, and then you can change the an bn. So one-sidedness will come in this case. Then fixed point method, we have xn plus 1 equal to f of xn. That's all, nothing else. Okay, you can guess any x naught. You need to convert that problem g of x equal to f of x equal to x formula, and then you have to do that. The Newton-Raphson method, you have to get only x naught. Okay, and then you can use this formula xn plus 1 equal to xn minus f of xn by f dash of x1, and then you can get that. For secant method, you need to guess again two cases, x0 and x1. Then you can use that xn plus 1 equal to xn minus xn minus 1 divided by f of xn minus f of xn minus 1 into f of xn. So that is the formula you have to use, and then you have to keep on doing this. This is going to give you the answer method. Then modified Newton-Raphson method. So this is going to be the modified Newton-Raphson method for the multiple roots. So xn minus f of xn into f dash of xn divided by f dash of xn square minus f of xn into f dash of xn. So this is for the modified Newton-Raphson method. Now again the merits and demerits. For the bisection method, this always converges, that is the merit, and linear convergence is going to come. Demerits is it is a slower convergence. And failures for complex roots or even multiple roots, it is going to be failure case, because again this is going to be it is not going to calculate that, because at least it should pass through that, then only it will calculate that. So otherwise it is not going to calculate. Paul's bisection method, again it is always convergent. The convergence is 1.618, which is the Coulton ratio, and the convergence is faster than the bisection method. Okay, but still it is a slower convergence. Again, the for complex roots and multiple roots, it is going to be failure. Okay, for also for significant curvature also, because almost similar kind of thing. So you are going to get the failure for that. The Newton fixed point method, it is simple to compute. Again, it is a linear convergence, okay, and it converges only when f dash of x is strictly less than 1, otherwise it may not converge, okay. So that is another case. So it fails automatically for f dash of x greater than 1. Newton-Raphson method, it's widely used and converges faster. If it converges, it is converging much faster, and the convergence is quadratic convergence. Again, it is finding the derivative is difficult for this one, and diverge for or poor convergence is there once f dash of x is having problem. Again, the inflection point or extrema or tangent or slope 0, okay, or slope 0, that those cases you are going to have some problem. Secant method, again, no derivatives. Here, no derivatives are involved compared to the Newton-Raphson method. It faster if it converges, but the ratio is means the convergence is 1.618, the Coulomb ratio. Again, you got to two initial cases you got to do. That is a little difficult, okay. And diverges, again, poor for diverge case or poor convergence will be there if you are choosing the wrong values, okay, the initial cases. Again, inflection point and extrema and tangent or slope 0, it is going to be failure. Multiple roots, useful for multiple roots cases, and again, it is going to be quadratic convergence. Finding for this, you got to do multiple derivatives. F dash also you got to calculate, F dash double dash also you got to calculate. So that is difficult, and it is inefficient for simple root. If the root is very simple, then it is inefficient. So it is not useful for functions with simple roots. So this is the disadvantage. Now we have accelerating the convergence. Okay, so some of the methods what we can do is that we can accelerate the convergence. Say this, some of the things are converging slowly. So in that case, what we can do is that we can accelerate that to converge much faster. For example, we will see some of the methods like Stephenson method and Eikind methods. So we have seen that bisection method, fixed point methods converges linearly. The formula is very simple, but it is converging linearly. Whereas Newton-Raphson method converges faster. In quadratic sense, it is converging. Paul-Spencer method, it's converging with a Coulomb ratio. Now, what we are going to do is that we are going to introduce a new method called Eikind's method, which is going to accelerate the convergence. We are going to use the same formula, but we are going to accelerate after a certain stage. Okay, so that is what we are going to do, regardless of the sequence, whether it is linearly convergent or quadratic convergent, it is going to accelerate much faster. So what we need to do is that suppose Xn is a linearly convergent n equal to 0 to infinity. Xn is a linearly convergent sequence converging to Xr. Okay. Now we are going to accelerate that. How are we going to accelerate that? So the following assumptions are very important. What are the assumptions? I have Xn minus Xr, okay, and Xn plus 1 minus Xr, and I have Xn plus 2 minus Xr. Okay, so these three things, okay, consequently. So Xn plus Xr, Xn minus Xr, Xn plus 1 minus Xr, Xn plus 2 minus Xr. These all three should have a same sign. Okay, that is condition number 1. Okay, so all should have same sign. So this is condition number 1. Second condition is that for a large n, okay, we must have this relation Xn plus 1 minus Xr, okay, Xn plus 1 minus Xr divided by Xn minus Xr should be approximately equal to Xn plus 2 minus Xr divided by Xn plus 1 minus Xr. If these two conditions are there, okay, this is condition number 2. For large n, okay, for large n, Xn plus 1 minus Xr divided by Xn minus Xr, Xn plus 2 minus Xr, Xn plus 1 minus Xr. So this would be approximately same, okay, for large n. So if these things are there, what we are going to do is that we are going to have some relation. Okay, so I'm just multiplying this one over here. So this is going to become like Xn plus 1 minus Xr whole square equal to Xn plus 2 minus Xr into Xn minus Xr is going to come. So I'm just going to simplify this. Okay, so this is going to become like Xn plus 1 whole square, Xn plus 1 whole square plus Xr square minus Xn plus 1 into Xr. Okay, 2 into approximately equal to, this is going to become like Xn plus 2 into Xn minus Xn r minus Xn plus 1 Xr plus Xr square. Okay, so these are done. So Xr square get cancelled. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to collect the remaining Xr terms. Okay, so in that case, this is going to become like Xn plus 2. Okay, so this is going to become like Xn plus 1. Okay, so here it is going to become like sorry, here xn plus 2 into xn, here xn plus 2 into xr, okay, xn plus 2 into xr. So I'm just going to collect the, so these two gets cancelled, okay, these two gets cancelled. Therefore, what I'm going to have xn plus 2. So remaining thing I'm going to collect. So this is going to become like xn plus 2. Okay, this I'm going to bring it over here, xn plus 2, and here I have minus 2 xn plus 1. Okay, and I have a xr here, that also I'm going to bring it over here. So xn into xr is going to become, so this is gone, and this is gone. The remaining thing I'm going to put it on the other side, that is going to become like xn plus 2 into xn minus xn plus 1 whole square. Okay, these things I have. Therefore, xr is going to become like this. Xr is going to be approximately equal to xn plus 2 into xn minus xn plus 1 whole square divided by xn plus 2 in minus 2 xn plus 1 plus xn. This is going to come. Okay, provided this is not equal to 0. Okay, so this is not equal to 0. So again, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to write add and subtract two terms. Okay, one is xn minus 2xn xn plus 1, another is 2xn into minus 2xn. Okay, there is a mistake here. Okay, so I'm just going to simplify this further. Okay, so I'm just going to write that. So what I'm going to write it as follows. So I'm just going to write this one. So this is going to become like xr is going to become, I'm just going to write it again. Okay, xr is going to be xn plus 2 xn minus xn plus 1 whole square. I'm going to add and subtract two terms, 2xn xn plus 1 plus 2xn xn plus 1 minus xr square xn square plus xn square. Okay, I'm just going to add and subtract, and denominator as it is xn plus 2 minus xn plus 2xn plus 1 plus xn. Okay, so now if I take xn plus 2 here, so if I take xn out here, this is going to become like xn plus 2, and here if I take, this is going to become like minus 2 xn plus 1, and here if I take, this is going to become like xn. So from here, okay, so this is there, then remaining terms, so this is gone, and this is gone. Okay, so the remaining thing I'm going to write xn plus 1 whole square plus 2 xn into xn plus 1 minus xn square. Okay, this is there. Or I can write this as this way, minus and plus. Okay, divided by, I have xn plus 2 minus 2 xn plus 1 plus xn is there. So this is nothing but, this is going to get cancelled. So xn minus, this is nothing but xn plus 1 minus xn whole square divided by xn plus 2 minus 2 xn plus 1 plus xn is going to come. Okay, so that's what I have. Now what happened? So there is a mistake, small mistake here. This should be plus here, not minus. Okay, so that is there. Now next one. So using this Aitken's method, what I'm going to do is that in the next step, okay, instead of calculating this one as whatever I have here, xn I have calculated, I'm going to introduce a new term. This is called yn. Okay, yn is going to be xn minus xn plus 1 minus xn whole square divided by xn plus 2 minus xn plus xn minus 2 xn1. So this is going to converge more rapidly to the xn. Okay, so that's what we are going to discuss over here. Okay, for example, we'll see some of the cases how it is going to converge. Okay, so if the sequence xn converges to xr, then the sequence yn converges to xr faster. Okay, so that I'm just leaving it as an exercise to you again. Okay, for example, xn plus 1 minus xr equal to x plus c plus delta n into xn minus xr, and mod c is less than 1, then you can prove that this is going to converge much faster. Okay, the limit n tends to infinity, yn minus xr by xn minus xr is going to be 0. So this is going to be much faster convergence is going to come. Okay, this I leave it as an exercise. So now in Aitken's method, what we are going to discuss is that, see, we have this xn plus 1 minus xn is there, right? So that I'm going to call it as, okay, delta. I'm just going to denote it a symbol called delta xn. Delta xn. So this is the same thing we will be using in the the interpolation method. We will coming to in the after a few lectures. Okay, so that time we'll use that. So the same symbol. So delta xn is nothing but xn plus 1 minus xn. Okay, so therefore this is going to become like delta xn. Now delta square of xn is nothing but delta of delta xn. Okay, so delta of delta xn means I got to apply on this one. So that is going to become like delta of delta xn means, so delta of xn plus 1 minus delta of xn. Okay, so what is delta of xn plus 1? That is going to become like xn plus 2 minus xn plus 1. And this is going to become like minus xn plus 1 minus xn. So that is nothing but xn plus 2 minus 2xn plus 1. This is plus xn. So this is nothing but delta square xn. Okay, so therefore this is going to become like, you are going to get delta xn whole square. Okay, this is going to become like delta xn whole square divided by delta square xn is going to come. So yn is going to become like xn minus, so this is equal to xn minus delta xn whole square divided by delta square xn is going to come. Since there is a delta square involved over here, this is called Aitken's delta square method. Now let us see like how do we use this for our fixed point iteration and other thing. So that is called Stephenson method. Okay, so in the Stephenson method, what we are going to do is that first two things. Okay, for example, in the fixed point iteration, first you are calculating, you are getting x naught. The next one you are calculating x1 is equal to f of x naught. The next one you are calculating x2 equal to f of x1. The next one what you are going to calculate is your x3. Okay, so x naught. So I'll just erase here. So you have x naught for fixed point. For all the methods, almost similar kind of thing. So x naught is known to you. Okay. Then x1 is nothing but f of x1. Your f of x naught you are going to calculate. The next two is going to be f of x1. Okay. Then x3. Since you know, see here you require only three values. X naught is xn plus 1. Okay. Only these xn plus 1, xn plus 2. Three values are must be known to you. Therefore, x3, what I'm going to calculate is that x3 I'm going to calculate like y naught. So what is y naught? Y naught is going to become like, so let me calculate y naught. Y naught is going to become like in this case. So it is going to become like x naught. X naught. Okay. Minus this is going to become like x1 minus x naught whole square divided by x2 minus 2x1 plus x1. So these are all known to me. So x3 equal to y naught I can calculate. Now again you calculate x4. X4 is going to become like f of x3. Okay. Then calculate x5. X5 is going to become like f of x4. Okay. F of x4. And then again go for x6. X6 is going to become like y1. Okay. Y1 means, x6 is going to become like y3. Okay. Y3 means you substitute here 3. So this is going to become like y3 is going to become like x3. Okay, x3 is newly calculated minus x1. X1 is nothing but x4. So here x4 is going to come minus x3 is going to come whole square divided by here it is going to become like xn plus 2. So 3. Therefore x5 is already known, and this is going to become like 2x4 plus x3. So again you can calculate this similarly. So you repeat that above step again and again. Then this is going to be called as Stephenson sequence, and this is generated by the Aitken's method. Okay, the rest of the things. Okay, these values 3, 6, 9, etc. Those things you got to calculate using the Aitken's sequence, whereas the remaining things you got to calculate using the fixed point iteration. Then you are going to get the convergence for this case. So this is an example for this Aitken's method where I have calculated. Okay, for example, I have given mod I comma 3 equal to 0 means I am calculating that. Otherwise, I am just keep on repeating that and going to calculate it. So again, this is left as an exercise. So suppose f of x equal to x as a fixed point and f dash of x are not equal to 0. Okay, means it's not equal to 1. If there exists a delta greater than 0 such that f belongs to c square xr minus delta and xr plus delta, then the Stephenson method is going to have a quadratic convergence for any x naught. Okay, so that's what we have. Next one. For Newton-Raphson method also similar kind of thing. What I'm going to calculate is that in this case the Stephenson method is the formula is this way. You have to calculate xn plus 1 equal to xn minus f of xn whole square divided by f of xn plus f of xn. Okay, inside that minus f of x. This is the Stephenson method for the Newton-Raphson method. Okay, this method also converges quadratically like Newton-Raphson method. However, it is free from derivatives. There is no derivatives involved over here in the Stephenson method. Again, this the following this is also kind of modifications on the Newton-Raphson method, and this is going to converge cubically. Okay, so that also I leave it as an exercise. You can prove that. And the generalized Newton-Raphson method, you can take this one xn minus omega into f of xn whole square by f dash of x1 with some constant. where omega is the acceleration factor you can introduce, and that is going to give you the increase the rate of convergence which we are getting here. So these are some of the example exercise problem. So you can calculate the root of square root of 2 using the Newton-Raphson method, and also you can calculate the root of the following equations using appropriate starting values. Okay, you can solve all the things using either bisection method, calculate all the method, bisection method, regular policy method, and all the methods calculate, and then compare them also. Okay, this is exercise, and check this one, the iteration formula where r is a positive constant. Was obtained by applying Newton-Raphson method for some function. What is the f of x is corresponding to this one that you got to calculate. Okay, so that I leave as an exercise. Calculate 2 of the 4 roots. So there are 4 roots is going to be there. You got to use the Newton-Raphson method with this appropriate guessing, and then you got to calculate 2 roots at least. Okay, 2 of the 4 roots. Okay. Similarly, what happens if you apply the Newton-Raphson method for x, tan inverse of x with x not equal to 2, and whether it converges or diverges, that you got to say. And for what values of x naught, this is going to converge, that you got to say. Okay. And again, this is appropriate methods you can choose, and then you can calculate that. Okay. So I have given some, for some values I have given initial cases also, you can do that. Again, this is the exercise problem. So that this is fixed point method has g dash of x are equal to 0, where g of x is given this way. Okay, for this one you got to prove that this is going to have a fixed point g dash of x are equal to 0. And this is a little hard exercise. Prove that the Stephenson method for fixed point iteration converges quadratically, and Newton-Raphson method converges quadratically, and the Alvarez method. So this is Alvarez method. You got to prove that this is This is having the convergence of order of convergence 3. So with this I will stop the lecture and let us continue